Dead men tell no tales, but their ships speak volumes. Welcome to the Cursed Compass, where we explore the darkest maritime mysteries. In June of 1840, the Coorong coastline was a desolate strip of sand and scrub. To the survivors of a wreck, this narrow stretch of land between the sea and the lake was a geographic trap. The 136-ton brigantine Maria hit the Margaret Brock Reef just off this coast, stranding 26 passengers and crew on the shore. Knowing they were 180 kilometers from the nearest settlement, the survivors began an overland trek toward Adelaide, but the group only made it halfway. Somewhere along this coast, the entire party, men, women, and children, disappeared. Because no one reached Adelaide to tell the story, the details of their journey were left to the interpretation of the search parties that followed. Weeks later, a search party led by William Pullen tracked footprints into these dunes. They found dismembered bodies and bloody clothing stuffed into wombat holes and buried beneath the sand. Pullen's men used wedding rings found on the remains to confirm that these were indeed the passengers of the Maria. This evidence formed the basis of the official record, that the local Milman-Rura clan had committed an unprovoked massacre. The physical remains had been found, but the events that led to the violence were viewed only through the lens of the colonial search party. In Adelaide, Governor Gowler ordered an immediate retaliation. He instructed Major O'Halloran to lead a pursuit and execute suspects on the spot. O'Halloran's expedition rounded up 65 Indigenous people for a drumhead court-martial, with no access to a formal legal defense. 2 men, Mongarawata and Pilgary, were identified by O'Halloran's party and hanged from she-oak trees directly over the graves of the victims. Under colony law, Indigenous people were classified as British subjects, guaranteeing them the right to a trial. But Gowler bypassed this, treating the clan as a hostile foreign nation under martial law, a decision causing a political scandal in London. The quick execution also left several questions unaddressed, including rumors of 4,000 missing gold sovereigns and the fact that the ship's crew were not among the bodies recovered. While the governor was eventually recalled from his post, the summary execution effectively silenced any alternative to the official colonial account. For over a century, the Ngarrindjeri people maintained their own oral history of the Maria through elders like Tom Trevorrow. Their records suggest the survivors were initially met with warm fire, provisions of food, and an escort across clan territories. Tensions began when several sailors from the Maria ignored warnings and made sexual advances toward the local women. Under strict Ngarrindjeri law, repeated interference after a formal warning was a severe crime that carried an absolute death sentence. Seen through this perspective, the event the British recorded as an unprovoked massacre was the enforcement of a legal penalty under Indigenous law. In 1966, a monument was placed at Apex Park in Kingston. Its plaque reflected the colonial narrative, citing only the murder of the survivors. In 2024, the Telling the Whole Story project, led by Professor Irene Watson, began the work of adding the context that had been missing for generations. The project installed new signs and a native garden to place the Ngarrindjeri record alongside the colonial one. The garden at Apex Park doesn't replace the old monument, but it does surround it. It is a reminder that a complete record of history only exists when we listen to both sides of the story.